Thank you, Mr. Pandey, and thanks to my other friends for really laying a ground why circular economy, why biodiversity. So I will not talk about it, and to be very frank, want to put a qualifier here. I am a layman. Only thing I understand is making cars. Okay, I can make trucks, I can make cars, I can make scooters. I don't understand biodiversity. I don't understand these subjects. No, but if somebody would have told me to come and stand here 5 years back, I would have simply refused. Today, whatever I'm going to talk is what we are practicing, and it is making sense. I will not get into too much of detail why we have to have that, and maybe, as I said, that maybe I don't even understand that much. Just to reinforce whatever I'm going to say today, I'm inviting any one of you to come and see it yourself if you want. Like, so, okay, whatever I'm going to say is actual what we are trying to do on the ground, and how much it is making sense, I will tell you, and how much it is not making sense. So very clearly, for a few decades, I think in last few decades, we have learned very clearly that economic development can't be seen in isolation, and we have to see environment and social progress together. I mean, typical thing, what we saw in Beijing, what we are seeing in Delhi. I am a Delhi guy living in Bombay now, and my son is also with me, and whenever we think of coming back to Delhi, even when when I retire or something, get a bit worried whether it's the right place to go back. But at the same time, when I look at Bombay, when it is monsoon and see the filth around, then you don't know whether it's the right place to live. So absolutely confused what's going on. I remember river in Delhi. I remember Yamuna when I was in 7th or 8th standard. I think anybody who is above 50 and who have lived in Delhi during those days, and going to Yamuna, Kalindi was a routine. At least once in a year, every school was going for picnic there. The flow of water, the clean water, and all those things. And today, I have a house in Noida, and when I cross Kalindi, I mean, it's a shame, really. We used to sleep in open. I was in Southex outside, and the stars were visible. Last month, I was in Australia. And the first thing which I told somebody, he said, how is the country? I said, it's not first time I'm coming here. But the main difference which I can see is that I can see stars here. Okay. So we have come to that level. Very clearly, I think Mr. Pandey said, Mr. Ravi said, from slogan and pledges, it's action and practice which can bring some difference. Okay, and I'm going to talk what we are trying to do. Very clearly, when Mr. Pandey, I think he asked 3 or 4 times that are boards talking about it, or it is just at ground levels. Very sincerely, I have one of my colleagues here, a senior colleague, Mr. Anirban, who represents sustainability in Mahindra. And believe me, in our boards, in our top management reviews, I think we talk more sustainability than we talk numbers today. Very, very sincerely. And why we talk, that I will come now. Okay. So we believe that sustainability is vital business strategy. And our sustainability framework is, I will repeat, action-oriented. Okay. And lays out business as well as beyond business goals. Obviously, as anybody else, we are worried about, we are looking at people, planet, and profit together. The best part is that all 3 domains are not exclusive. Okay, all have bearing on each other. And when it comes to interventions, very clearly interventions towards carbon neutrality, where we are talking conservation, energy mix, water positivity and security, where we talk about conservation and recycling, harvesting. These were 2 subjects which were being talked from last 3, 4, 5 years, and they were giving us huge dividend. And then last 2 years, we started talking about zero waste and circular economy. At the same time, promoting diversity. It's making sense when I said that people profit on this thing. So when it was especially carbon, wherever we put hand, we found that returns were higher than the returns what we get in selling our products today. Okay. Whatever we have invested in wind power or solar or reduction of power consumption, everywhere IRR is close to 24%, 25%. We never thought it can be so much. Okay. And so that's why we get huge support from top management and board, because when we go there, it makes sense. Water, we never felt it is a big economic sense, because unfortunately water is free in this country, and we all are authorized and can use water and waste it to that extent till it really becomes this thing. But what we experienced was that some of the plants and locations, the water was becoming less and less. And if you have to coexist with other people, it was becoming difficult. And what happened in IPL, Bombay and all those things, we all remember. And all those learnings, when we started looking at, and we thought that water security is very critical, even if it cost us something. Today, I can say that my water consumption is 25% when I say what we draw from corporation of what it used to be 5 years back per unit. We were 1% on rain harvesting, we are at 20%. We were 6% on recycling, we are at 13%. This all has led to, and then using processes which can this thing. But then the time came for looking at zero waste and circular economy. In the beginning, again, it was not sounding good. But today, it's making sense. I'll give you many examples to just talk about few of them. The paint sludge, which comes from paint shop, which I was paying to discharge, okay, as hazardous waste. Today, we are giving it to cement industry to use it as fuel. The cotton gloves, we are giving it to cement industry to use. Okay. The sand which I use in foundry, we are using for bricks, and it is making sense. Okay. 2 years back, we saw once GM writing that so many of their sites, they are moving to zero landfill. And then we took a challenge. Today, this year, we will have 5 of our sites out of 8, which will be zero landfill. Okay. So this is making sense. And then biodiversity. Again, biodiversity looks more like a social thing to do. And we signed hands with the IBBI in 2014. Basically, we started learning from them. To be very frank, it was in the beginning was not making any economic sense. But I'm giving you example of one of our powertrain plants in Igatpuri. We had huge issue of dust, and to take care of that, especially if you are making engines, okay, you have to have environment which is dust-free. So you create places which are either air-cooled, AC, high air pressure, and all those things. And that was costing huge money, and still we were not giving dividends. So then we converted the whole area out of 40 hectares, what we had, 25, we gave it for biodiversity, putting grass, shrubs, orchards. We have all the fruits being made there and all those things. What we found was, by doing this, today my air has become much more cleaner. 79% drop in 0.5 micron and below dust particle. Up to 5 micron, something like 73% drop. Above 5 micron, 21% drop. The whole thing has become much more cleaner, which is much more easy to use and all those things. My warranty has come down, my engine life has gone up. So what I'm trying to say is that everything, whatever we are doing, is making huge sense now. Okay. The biggest thing which I'm finding different there is that when you are in a manufacturing organization, big manufacturing organization, and you have to deal with big workforces, okay, engagement becomes one of the most difficult thing. I mean, to give them a feel that they are working for some cause. Otherwise, repeatable jobs year on year. I mean, you are doing the same job from last 20, 30 years. It's very the same. By involving our people for CSR, by involving people in sustainability, has given them a different feeling. Okay. Though people have become more attached to company, they feel that I work for a company which care for this. When it comes to young generation, I mean, everybody is talking about Gen Y today. Okay. So when I meet Gen Y guy, I mean, for few of our you are sitting here also. Okay. And when people talk about work-life balance, to be very frank, in a country like India, I don't know whether time has come to really talk about work-life balance. Okay. I mean, those countries where 3 generations have worked very hard and brought to some level, they are talking about it. So I say that maybe I have no answer when it comes to work-life balance, but by working in a company which care for all these things, okay, you can have a better future. Okay. And I think it is making sense. So I mean, all 3 things, whether it is profit, whether it is planet, or whether it is people, I'm seeing all these things are going in the right direction. And now coming to some of the things on circular economy, we are monitoring consumption of paper, wood, water, carton, plastic, oil, e-waste, batteries, everything is measured. Okay, and we've tried to find reasons how to reuse it or reduce it. We are able to work on by not discharging to landfills or something, we are able to avoid that. Prevention of air pollution, prevention of water pollution. Basically, we work on 5 principles when it comes to waste to wealth. Reduce things like, as I said, paper, sheet metal, casting. So when it comes to sheet metal, we look at yields, raw material versus final this. When it comes to casting, raw material versus machine parts. Recycle, water, whether it is cast iron, aluminum, plastic and rubber. When it comes to reuse, wood, carton, paint sludge, cotton waste. When it comes to things like food, okay, all the locations have biogas plants, and whatever we find as waste, we convert them into, we use the same manure for this thing. We are refusing use of thermocol, asbestos, plastic bottles and all those things. So all this is making sense. Lastly, I think it is very natural for a country like us to really work. I still remember the days when, the father cloth were converted into children cloth, okay, till 11th standard. I think whatever I was wearing was really converted from my father's this thing. Saris are still converted into suits, okay. When we leave curd in the night, next day we make curry out of it, okay. I mean, practically, the paper, those papers, newspapers, were always converted into bags, okay. So I think we were a society which was very conservative, but somehow we lost the way, and the reason is to look back, and we will find answers. Do we have all the answers? I think no. But if we are measuring everything and looking for opportunities, okay, every month we find something which we are finding as a new opportunity to look at. In last 5 years, close to 200 crores plus of energy saving, okay, and water consumption, I told you where we are. Wood, we have reduced 50%. Carton, we have reduced 75%. Okay, all is making sense, and all is economics. Okay. So I think I will leave here. But again, whatever I taught, whatever I was trying to say, I will request that anybody wants to come and see physically, I will love to. Thank you very much. All the best.